Canada is quickly becoming a joke. Case in point, you guys remember from earlier in the year, right at the beginning of the school year, in fact, Kayla Lemieux, the stunning and brave woodshop teacher with giant titties, fake titties, after all, went for a skydiving date with a conservative porn. What are we doing here? This is bizarre. Even more so. And again, it's kind of weird, right? Because you can see in the picture right there, Kayla, Ben, whatever that's name is. Okay. Looks like Max Headroom with pink shirt on. It's fucking strange, really. It's like, yeah, that's the thing to point out that's strange. It's like, bro's wig fell off. It's like, it's just so fucking weird. It's like, okay, goes through with the entire dress up gimmick, okay? The exact same pink shirt. It's like, I can also understand just having like a couple of different looks because I'm sure compensating for those gigantic fake tits, you can't really find a slew of different shirts that are out there, you know, ones that aren't like muumuus or whatever. I understand if you need to dress appropriately, and considering the fact that you got the green light from the school board, I'm starting to think that maybe this is just an entire mockery scheme. Like, how fucking absurd can this shit actually get? Well, we'll put it on the internet, kid. Still wearing the glasses are on there too at the same time. It's like, you have to be trolling at this point. Like, this pushes so many boundaries. It's fucking strange. Kayla Lemieux, the biological male shop teacher. Oh, you're just being a bigot from Oakville, Ontario. Infamous for wearing giant prosthetic breasts to class. Was caught on camera jumping out of a plane. Well, I don't think it's so much caught on camera as put it on camera. Okay, who was caught on camera jumping out of a plane on October 31st with a voodoo porn star. A man who referred to himself as a conservative porn star skydiver? Fuck? Did you just put like a bunch of different words in a bag and then you just came out with a new gimmick? Like, what are we doing? While the prosthetic breasts survived the journey back down to earth, a Lemieux's wig fell off. Fucking Christ. Was this a tranny teacher or a fucking World Star video? Like, what are we doing here? Talking with Oakville transgender shop teacher on a skydive. Oh, taking. Sorry, not talking. There's no talking that happened. It's just mostly muffled grunts into a pillow. Voodoo porn star posted on Twitter, prophesizing that there was no way the wig would stay on. Very good. Very astute. It's also a smart, conservative skydiving porn star. Is that what we're going with? All it took was one bump from the cameraman, and there goes the wig, folks. Oh, okay. I think dude's real hair looks better anyway. This has to be a fucking joke at this point in time, okay? He's like, dude's hair's better. And it's like, yeah, for a man. I don't care who you are, how crazy you are. I always throw anyone out of a plane. Hey, shout out to that guy. At least he's having fun out here in these streets. And something else that continues to go on that makes this country a complete and total fucking mockery. Chrystia Freeland, who I'm sure probably has a nice pike right outside of her window, waiting to come back to Grand Prairie to find that fucking hillbilly who accosted her at Town Hall back in the summer. Boy, that was fun. Should have let that fucking goofball go on, but oh no, again, yeah, he was doing one of those all too common assaults on women in Canada, which is so funny. And it's like, come on, the Liberal Party's in charge and there's all this misogyny going on. Shouldn't you guys be taken out of power if you're allowed to continue to enact your policies that are leading to all this misogynist violence? It's just fucking strange. Anyways, Freeland claims, okay, and she wants to be in charge of all this stuff, as she was the one who was in charge of regulating and seizing the crypto accounts from the evil protesters that were out there. Oh, I'm sorry, insurrectionists, right? She claims during this inquiry that's currently going on, don't know when it's going to wrap up, don't know ultimately what they're going to find out. It's like, you couldn't have used the Emergencies Act properly, and a nice slap on the hands for Justin Trudeau, and nothing will come out from it because he's a fucking evil tyrant. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland gave her testimony at the Emergencies Act inquiry on Thursday, during which she revealed that she believed the, get this one, Freedom Convoy was holding democracy hostage. I've heard many things. They were holding the streets hostage. They were holding Ontario hostage. They were maybe holding Canada hostage. But democracy, the entire concept of democracy, was being held captive by a couple of bounce castles and some fucking Mac 18-wheelers. Okay. The Emergency Commission co-lead counsel, Shantae Chattery, all right, Questioned Freeland about the memo that was circulated in February in which she alleged, "I am very resolute in ending this occupation of our democracy." Whenever you hear that, do you also shudder inside like I do? But I will never support negotiating with those who hold our democracy hostage. No good thing comes of that. Using and applying, without saying the exact words, but the concept remains. We do not negotiate with terrorists. Terrorists who like to bring their own Frankenstrats and bless the morning every day. Yeah, terrible people, horrible people that you didn't even go and talk to. Nobody in Parliament did, by the way. Asked by Shattery to explain that comment, Freeland said it was self-explanatory. I don't have... Educate yourself about this topic, you fucking bigot. I am the Deputy Prime Minister. I don't have to answer to the likes of you. That's not what she said, but that's just the aura that she gives off. Unapproachable cunt. Before launching into a small speech that seems to be the surface of a statement devaluing protests in general. Yeah, no, because they're aspiring tyrants. Let's fucking keep it a buck. We've seen that play out at the beginning of the year, and it's just like, why are you dragging us in front of this panel? We're just here to micromanage and institute our socialist utopia. Get the fuck out of the way, you cocksucking morons. We are so much smarter than you. That's their opinions. I don't think it's healthy for a democracy, for any democracy, for policies to be made, at gunpoint, if you will. There were guns in Ottawa. Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about this one. The only time I remember seeing anything about guns was down there at Couts. And that was, I don't know, somebody who glue, is that the right one? Was elucidated, in a way that would make me believe that there was certain motives behind that trailer full of guns and all of those hello fellow protesters turning up at that event to summarily tear it down. But at gunpoint, right? Can you quantify any of that? No, of course not. And that really also devalues the views and the contributions of all Canadians who express their political views and their political references in different ways, for example, by voting. Yeah, anybody who expresses their views differently, that's haram. We can't be doing that. Again, what was your support for all the Black Lives Matter protests that happened a couple of years ago? Oh, you were totally fine with that because it's a side that you appreciate. But then when free speech is exercised on the other side, the right to protest, the one that was actually peaceful, the one that was actually totally fine and above boards in every single form and function, that's the dangerous one. I understand, because it was directly against the government and you felt a certain way. Shattery then asks if she is referring specifically to the vaccine mandates, to public health measures, to more generally, to which Freeland responded, "Fuck you, I don't have to answer your goddamn questions." Responded by admitting that she didn't even remember having the conversation at all. Deputy Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I knew I was going to be asked some questions. I just couldn't refresh my memory. I don't have a sort of photographic memory. Well, you should probably have some of a memory, okay? Because we see what happens when there's leaders of countries that just have intermittent memory problems. They become laughing stocks. Heaven forbid that would become the fate of Canada. But she doesn't know about the conversation, whatever. Having read this note, I think I was referring to it as a comment made earlier in the conversation. Well, how do you know? You don't remember having the conversation. How can you opine on the situation? Suggesting the solution is to change the policy on vaccines. I don't think I was responding to. Oh, of course not. No, we reviewed this note and found out that we did nothing wrong at all whatsoever. Something else that was found out recently about this inquiry was that Trudeau's invoking Emergencies Act led to an increase in anti-authority rhetoric. Wow. People who were upset about the treatment of the government voiced their displeasure with how the government was handling things. That leads to a rise in anti-authority rhetoric. And what are we going to do about that? Well, just start to curtail speech on the internet. Yeah, no, exactly. Can't let any of that information get out there, okay? Because mass media was totally 1000% CBC, CTV, City TV, APTN, every other fucking mass media outlet in Canada was 1000% behind Justin Trudeau, his Liberal Party, and everybody saying that those goddamn fucking truckers from out west were basically domestic terrorists locking down Ottawa with their... What was the proper verbiage that was out there? A small minority, a fringe minority of people with unacceptable views. That was the public line. That was a trumpeted, parroted, and foisted upon the population. And now, that subservience to the federal government is being implemented all over the internet. And if you think your boy is shadow banned terribly right now on YouTube, who doesn't, like, I don't want to toot my own horn here. I hate making things about me unless, of course, it's relevant to the conversation that we're having. I think I put out good material. I think I have good commentary. I think that subjects that I talk about are unique and interesting, and every once in a while something breaks through and it's received extremely well. So I know I'm doing something good around here. So it's one thing to be fighting against YouTube. Eventually I'll break through. Eventually I'll be popular, and God help everybody out there if I get just a little bit of purchase on this, because fucking Christ, I'm coming for that throne. But all in due time. All in due time. It's all about slow, incremental growth. Finally, 2 years into this shit, I am starting to see some fucking results, and I thank everybody who watches this stuff, because it wouldn't be possible, okay? It would just be me, a microphone, a webcam, and a bunch of fucking nonsense that would come out here. So if nobody watches this stuff, nobody likes it, nobody writes and does whatever the fuck you want to do with it, okay? It's all there out there for you. Once I record it, edit it, put up the thumbnail, write the description, add the tags, it is for the world to use, the world to see, the world to be educated by. That's the way I want it. I just want to break. I just want a fair chance at this type of stuff. But you get bills like Bill C-11. I gotta get discouraged a lot by this stuff right here, because that's just going to let the federal government that is diametrically opposed to my opinions, my thoughts, my deciphering of the truth, which is just the truth at the end of the day. I understand. I have a certain bias that's out there. But when we take a look at the stuff that is out there as well, I can set my bias aside to just take a look at the facts. Take a look at the base documents. Take a look at what we're dealing with right here, and then come to a general understanding of what is actually being said. Not commentary over something else that somebody else heard. Getting to the bottom of this stuff and deciphering it out there. But because the way that I express myself, because of the way that I arrive to this truth, that is not acceptable to the federal government. And I don't know if that means that I'm going to have to expedite my plan to get out of this fucking socialist hellhole. But if you'd like to sponsor that, I'm definitely taking applications. I'm just not doing anything compromising in order to get certain funding. I'm not a Trudeau after all. Despite his attempts to convince Canadians otherwise, Canadian Heritage Minister Pablo Rodriguez, very Canadian name, said on Tuesday that Bill C-11, the Trudeau's Liberals' much criticized internet censorship bill, would in fact provide the government the ability to tweak the algorithms of social media providers. Rodriguez said for months that the Canadian Radio Television Telecommunications Commission, yes, the CRTC, our version of the FCC, okay, would not be able to have a direct effect on search algorithms to change content on sites like Facebook and Twitter. Very interesting that you'd point out those two examples. According to True North Center, Rodriguez made the admission in response to questions by Conservative Senator Michael McDonald. Did he have a farm? A section of the bill states that the commissioner shall not make an order that would require the use of specific computer algorithm or a source code. However, the CRTC commissioner has told our committee quite clearly that this would be accomplished indirectly, said McDonald. We've been told by many witnesses that if this is done or indirectly required, it will have a negative impact on many Canadian creators. So in light of that, why wouldn't you support an amendment on this when it comes to discoverability? Rodriguez responded, the CRTC can't mandate user-specific algorithms. What we want is outcomes. Great. Not an opportunity-based outcome. They just want mandated outcomes. It's no longer an equality-based output. It's an equity-based output. So, bye-bye. I'm just about to get Thanos snapped off the internet. Not being hyperbolic, if this shit goes through, you won't be seeing me again. As explained by John Carpe for the Justice Center of Constitutional Freedoms for the Post-Millennial, the stated purpose of the Online Streaming Act, OSA, is to bring influential streaming services like Netflix, Disney, and Spotify under authority of the Canadian Radio, Television, and Telecommunications Commission. But under the OSA, the CRTC's new authority will will not be limited to these large entertainment giants. Rather, the OSA will empower the CRTC to assume jurisdiction via regulation over any program, audio or audio-visual online content that is monetizable because it directly or indirectly generates revenue. Yeah, of course. So in short, Trudeau's new bill would give the CRTC new sweeping powers that would enable them to regulate any online streaming service they wanted, including that of private citizens. Yep, and my content specifically would be a part of that stuff. And again, oh yeah, no, it has nothing to do with like Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. Why is YouTube specific? This is Google Canada blog, okay? Company news, YouTube, all of that shit, okay? It comes directly from Google. I seen a little banner when I was logging into my account today, and it's like, yeah, I got to talk about this. There's no more kicking the can down the road on this. So just found a bunch of Canadian issues like, you know, big titty teacher, and then, you know, just all the lying that happens at the Emergencies Act. It's like, we know you didn't have jurisdiction. You didn't have authority to enact it. You did, and you accomplished your goal. And at best, you're just going to get a slap on the wrist. And at worst, well, hopefully somebody has a nice little gallows erected in an appropriate time and fashion, but we'll never fucking see that now, will we? But what we are going to get, well, is just make sure that there's no organization, that there is no avenue for communication for any unacceptable values and thoughts and ideas in the future, because the government has the correct ideas. Boy, where have we seen that play out before? Time and time again. But it's never truly been tried, right? Canada, keep YouTube yours. And this is where I knew it was a fucking problem, because if even YouTube is coming to a decent take on this shit, you know exactly what time it is. Okay, so the editor's note right here, and just for full transparency, you can see that it's purpled out right there. I signed it and everything. That I would encourage you to as well if you consider this serious. We're going to read through their entire post right here because I did earlier and I think that it's actually good, which is weird for me to praise Google and YouTube. Normally I'm just tearing them down for their terrible practices, but hey man, when you hit a home run, you hit a home run, okay? You stand up and fucking clap. Good job, okay? We are sharing more below on what we believe is at stake for Canadians and Canadian creators. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, you can sign Open Media's petition here. Canada, let's work together to keep YouTube yours. I would argue you guys don't really do that, but at the same time, hey, I just want a shot. That's all I want. Just want a shot, okay? For over 15 years, YouTube has been connecting Canadians to the content that they love. I agree. From Charlotte Chardon's newest music video, who the fuck is that, to house renos with a generation DIY, to news, and what's my byline over there? Daily news, politics, pop culture, and dating content. All of that type of stuff from your boy Don Consuelo. If you want to follow all of that stuff, you've had the opportunity to. Well, actually, I've also taken a look at my demographics, and like 60% of the time, my audience is coming from the United States. But the second most prominent demographic when it comes to geographic location is Canada, like 7%. I don't do a lot of Canadian-specific content, and whenever I do, it's about the NHL, and I shit on them because they're bad. But because I'm based out of Canada, about the only based person in Canada, this directly affects me and, by extension, everybody watching this, or anybody who has ever watched my channel, because there's nothing that I say that would directly support the Canadian government. Our systems have been designed to recognize and respect the needs of each of our users so that we're able to serve you with the content that you want in a moment that you want it. Yeah, no, exactly. YouTube works. YouTube is far and away the premier video streaming site online. Like, there's no experience quite like it. It runs incredibly fucking smoothly outside of a couple little glitches, but like 95 to 99% of the time, it is the shit. It is the place where you can make the most money. It is the place where you get the best viewing experience. It is even beating the brakes off of Twitch when it comes to streaming right now. Like, its tools and services are fucking second to none out there. Rumble, love Rumble. Its UI is a bit fucking sketchy. Okay, some of its functionality on the apps online are sus at best, but they're getting better. It's just YouTube has that much of a gap. Again, they've been around for 15 years. Rumble, it's been around, I think, for like a decade, but it's only really popped off in the past couple of years, and they've done a tremendous job catching up. But don't think that Bell C11 is somehow going to skirt Rumble. That'll happen at the exact same way. CRTC is coming in to regulate all of these fucking things. And what are they doing? They're promoting creators, and it's going to get in there, okay? And just like if you've ever listened to radio in Canada, CRTC has governance over their playlists. You need to have a certain amount of Canadian content up there at the top, which mostly just comes down to some shit version of a fucking Nickelback Default or a fucking Rush song. All of those are audio aids. I hate all of them. Like, I'd really have to think about it and take a look through my, album collection that's over there. I don't like any Canadian music. It is all fucking terrible. But that's what's foisted upon us all the fucking time. Hey, you have to support Canada. It's like, no. It's supposed to be the open market. And it's like, well, not anymore, kids, because there's too many people with anti-government sentiment out there, and we need to quash that. Thanks for keeping us safe, government. Earlier this year, the Online Streaming Act, Bill C-11, was introduced in Canada, with the stated goal of supporting the creation and promotion of Canadian content. That's not what it does, though. We wholeheartedly support Canadian creators. I take umbrage with that, but all right. And Canadian storytelling. Yes, exactly. With all the drum circles and the feathers and the fucking smoke signals outside of your teepees. We understand. And we're proud to work. The work we've done to foster the creator economy in this country, it's kind of been sus, to say the least. Okay, how many strikes am I on at this? 10 or 12? You guys are really good at helping small Canadian creators. I guess I need to be more like those two women that you point out. But fuck that. My chest is probably nicer anyways. New research from Oxford Economics show that in 2021, YouTube's creative ecosystem directly contributed $1.1 billion to Canada's GDP. The continued growth comes from access to an audience of billions, where Canadian creators can find an audience here at home and around the world. In fact, over 90% of watch time on Canadian channels comes from outside of Canada. Yeah, no, exactly. Like I said before, 60% of my audience is American, and then it's just single digits all the way down. And I'm fine with that. The fact that anybody else is interested in, the inner workings of, Joe Biden's administration, me just saying how shit Justin Trudeau is. Okay, if you live in fucking Germany or the UK and you're captivated by my commentary, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I have no idea how this ended up coming across your timeline in any form or fashion. Maybe you like when I just take a dump on fucking OnlyFans girls, because that's just kind of fun. But most of the stuff that I do on the channel is kind of just universal principles, because we could just talk specifically about different news items, break that shit down. But I like to just add universal principles and then just see what we can dig out from that, so you can assess a news story that maybe I'm not covering or not covering in a timely fashion. And you can take those tools out there to dissect and learn from whatever situation you find yourself in. That's what I aim to accomplish with this channel. I don't want people to just be wandering around out there in the dark, just being fed the correct opinions and then just not thinking for themselves. I've been surrounded with those people in the different jobs that I've worked in, the different places that I found myself. I am tired of seeing that out there. I want to make a difference. I want to teach people. I want to give the tools that have unlocked me, woken me from the matrix, as it were. I want to hand them off to the next most capable hands that are out there. But that's directly opposed to what the Online Streaming Act is wanting to do, okay? I want to take away all of those tools from the Canadian creators that have non-politically correct views in order to push, I don't know, I'm sure all of the other content creators or commentators that are out here in Canada are just soy-based fucking life forms from, metropolitan cities, and it's like, well, aren't commoners bad? Vote Justin Trudeau. He has nice hair and my boyfriend likes him. But anyways, back to this. It's not very long, and I'll just, bust through it here. But what's deeply concerning is that the current version of the bill has the potential to disadvantage the Canadian creators who build their businesses on our platform and change the personalized experience of millions of Canadians who visit YouTube every day. No, it's not supposed to do that, but it's funny because you have the heritage minister who co-authored this bill is like, no, I won't do anything like that. But then YouTube comes out and it's like, no, actually, it's directly going to do that. So how are we going to negotiate this? We have a responsibility to our Canadian viewers and creators to inform them of the changes to their online experience, and we think that it's worth standing up for our viewers' interest and creators' livelihoods. Thank you? Yeah, no, it's 1,000%. Today, we are sharing more about the beliefs at stake in our Canadians and Canadian creators, and there's a video of some Asian lady. Very good representation of Canada, right? That's Palin's Kitchen. Sarah Palin, oh my god, I got a retarded stepdaughter or something, you know. Not that Palin. Let me explain why this is so important. No, I'll take it from here. Let me. YouTube is a personalized experience for everyone, built on the principle of helping you find the videos you want to watch and will be valuable to you. Yes, sort of. And we use many signals to do this, including clicks, watch time, shares, likes, and more. This helps us introduce, I initially read that as indoctrinate, but okay, viewers to new content and creators that they may not have thought to look for. And again, if you found this, if you're one of the 1,500 over on YouTube, or just about 750 over on Rumble, or some over on Odyssey, you're going to be affected by this if this bill ends up going through, okay? I'll be disappearing, okay? That likelihood of discovery will fucking disappear into the ether. I'll be back stocking shelves for a minute. I don't fucking know. I'll be fine at the end of the day. It's just going to suck that my failure is predicated on what the Canadian government thinks of my content. I don't like that. I don't like my odds in that situation. In its current form, Bill C-11 would require YouTube to manipulate these systems and surface content according to the CRTC's priorities rather than the interest of Canadian users and the world's users, okay? Because this will affect everybody under the CRTC's jurisdiction, which would be any unique Canadian-based creator that's out there on all fucking platforms. This is just Google and YouTube's perspective. Put into practice, this means that when viewers come to YouTube's homepage, they're served content that a Canadian government regulator has prioritized. Why do you think I would assume that I would just disappear into the fucking void that is YouTube? I would never get promoted, okay? I pointed this out a little while ago. YouTube, especially if you use the app or anything like that, you end up getting the little categories off to the side, like gaming, music, news, sports, and all that type of stuff. What gets promoted? The big platforms. What kind of views did they pull? Sometimes some of the videos, like specifically my FTX, a couple of those breakdown videos, do better than the ones that are pushed on YouTube. Nobody likes that content, okay? And then even if you were to search, let's just say what's some of my more popular stuff, Trevor Bauer's investigation, what would you get? You'd get Sportsnet, you would get CBC perhaps, that's all you would get. And if nobody's talking about that type of stuff, maybe, perhaps, potentially. If you're searching for some of my old legacy content, you might be able to find my channel. Other than that, blipped out of existence. When users are recommended content that is not personally relevant, they react by tuning out, skipping the video, abandoning the video, or even giving it a thumbs down. When our search and discovery systems receive these signals, they learn that the content is not relevant or engaging for viewers. And exactly, yeah, because I don't follow my analytics incredibly closely, but whenever I look in, I'm pleasantly surprised. Like watch time, like I understand, not everybody's going to watch through a video, okay? And most people just tune out within the first couple of seconds, but as a percentage, I do pretty fucking good, okay? Especially from some of the other figures that I've heard from other more prominent content creators that are out there. I do a pretty good job, okay? Like I know the length of my videos kind of vacillates from 10 minutes all the way up to like the longest video is about 3 hours long. But sometimes I'll approach that 51 hour mark consistently on a regular basis. Every week though, I would say 20 minutes. Okay. But even still broken down as a percentage point, like about most of my watch time as a percentage, it's about 10% of the video, which is incredibly fucking good that's out there, okay? And then if I got a particularly, eye-catching thumbnail or something like that, that just means that more impressions are going to be out there. And regardless, even if something's incredibly popular, I'm still going to get that same amount of watch time. That same percentage is there. And I know I'm doing something good based on that. Like, thumbs up, thumbs down really doesn't mean all that much. Interaction is interaction. I don't get fucking butthurt about that. I don't know how the rest of that stuff works. Really, nobody does. But now the federal government thinks that they can do it better. Great. fantastic. But anyways, yeah, back to this search and discovery, blah, 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 not relevant, and then apply this to a global scale. This means that globally, Canadian creators will have a harder time breaking through and connecting with a niche audience who would actually love their content, which is, like, again, I didn't have any, friends or family members really en masse to spread my channel around with, okay? My parents, they told a couple of their friends that were interested. Most of this stuff, I'll just keep it a buck. All of the channel growth is organic. It's by word of mouth, by people in the comment section, people liking the videos, sharing them around, okay? I'm not on very many social media platforms, okay? I got that Twitter account that I use to just shitpost periodically, but I don't promote any of my videos. And even when I was way back in the day, about a year ago, before I deleted my original Twitter account, it didn't really generate any sort of value that was on there. I might have got a couple of additional viewers off of that, but there's no value gained off of it, long and short of it, because Twitter a couple years ago was a much different beast than it is right now. That'll also be affected too, because you'll have a couple of government mandated accounts that'll continue to make the rounds as well, and you already know what they're going to be. Fewer Jack Posobics, more, I don't know, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, whatever the Canadian equivalents would be. In the spring, we saw tens of thousands of Canadian creators raise their voices to share their concerns, but the concerns were not addressed. Would that be the trucker protest that was right there? Because actually, yeah, my channel was doing pretty good. And the fact that they point out the spring in Canada, we can connect the dots right there. And then even if we go to, like, early summer with the Johnny Depp stuff, where that's where I got a huge fucking boost and actually got me over the hump for monetization. 24,000 views on one fucking video, which is more than, I've gotten on like a month's worth of content, okay? But I still have some concerns about that one, because that one, it went all the way, it was going up like a fucking rocket, and then right at midnight on the East Coast, it fucking flatlined, and I think I've gained a dozen views on it. It's like, wow, power of the algorithm. So I know that. I've seen that in action, and that's what they want to do to entire fucking channels. Nuke them. Make them not fucking relevant at all. Respecting the individual... Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a little bit more. What's more, millions of Canadians weren't even aware of the bill or that their online experience could potentially change. Yeah? Respect, it's just so weird that YouTube is bringing this up, or Google, even at the broader sense. Respecting the individual, or the individuality of every user who comes to our platform and meeting their unique needs is a key part of what makes YouTube so special. Does it make sense for a regulator to curate your experience on YouTube to reflect the government's priorities? I cannot believe they're actually writing this. This sounds like something that I would come up with off the top of my head. I'm glad they're sticking up for us. Fucking Christ. We believe that the diversity of content, creators, and users is a strength. Yes, the diversity is our strength. Ugh, boy. And we want to preserve the rich experience that Canadians enjoy today. This is a conversation that impacts so many. YouTube creators and Canadians must be made aware that it could change and given the opportunity to ensure their voices are heard. Open Media, a community-driven organization that works to keep the internet open, has done significant work in this space. And what was the other one? Judicial Rights and Freedoms Gimmick. That's also there as well. Let me get the name correctly. Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms for the well, he's writing for the post-millennial. So Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. That's the other network, but Open Media is the one that they're referencing here. Community-driven organization that works to keep the internet open, has done significant work in space, keep Canadians informed on the bill. Canadian users and creators, if you want to add your voice to the conversation, you can sign the petition there. And again, yeah, like I already signed it. I just need to check. No, okay, good. I thought it would end up doxing me because you got to put your name, your postal code, and all that jazz as well. No, I'm dead serious on this one. This would make most of your favorite. If you're watching this video and if you're watching it this long, you have a specific love for a certain type of creator, especially anybody based in Canada. And if this bill goes through, if it passes through the Senate, your online experience is fundamentally going to change. And if it works here, you don't think that other authoritarian governments around the world won't take a look at this bill and try to adopt it everywhere else? This is a mainstreamification of the internet, and this is just merely step one. It's just so happening here in Canada. kind of like how those freedom protests began at the beginning of the year. They don't want to be caught with their pants down once again. So they're trying to nip this in the bud right now. And I hope that, well, you guys hear this, you appreciate not just my content, but other good Canadian content creators that are out there as well, and spread the word and do what you can about it. I don't really know. Not good at these call to actions. Like, for fuck's sakes, I don't even call out for subscribers or likes or any shit like that. So I'm just taking this shit incredibly fucking serious because, well, it's my dream to make this profitable, and I've been working exceedingly fucking hard at it. And just to see Justin Trudeau's narcissism squash it, yeah, that would be just a little bit too much to bear, I think. So, with all of that said, I hate to end on such a down note. I don't know. Justin Trudeau's a cuck, and his dad is probably Fidel Castro. Maybe eventually we'll get to the bottom of that someday, kind of like how he ended up getting to the bottom of Margaret Trudeau. There we go. See, we don't need to end on such a downer now, can we? And those are the type of jokes that can be taken away from you folks if this Bill C-11 ends up passing through. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.